High-speed pursuits, split-second decisions, lives hanging in the balance. This is Justice Moments, where every chase tells a story and every second counts. July 14th, 2025. Interstate 40, Arkansas. Clarksville police had a gray Chevy S10 on the run eastbound, refusing to stop. An Arkansas state trooper caught wind of the pursuit and moved to intercept. The S10 veered off 440 onto Highway 64, engine screaming, trying to outmaneuver the net closing in. 70 miles per hour on a two-lane road. The truck swerved hard, tires fighting for grip on asphalt that wasn't cooperating. Near Shields Road, Physics 1. The S10 lost control, slid sideways across both lanes, wheels locked, helpless. It hit the embankment at full speed. And launched. For a moment, the truck was airborne suspended, weightless before gravity yanked it back down into the ditch with a bone-jarring crash. Officers converged on the wreckage. The driver, Lewis Black, was pulled from the cab and cuffed on the dirt. No fight left, no escape left. The charges: felony fleeing, resisting arrest, obstruction, and the reason he ran in the first place, an active arrest warrant. All that speed, all that risk, all that destruction, for something that was always going to end the same way. Sometimes you don't outrun your consequences. You just fly straight into them. Spring 2016. A quiet Sunday afternoon in Grandview, Missouri was about to shatter. 12:36 p.m. Police dashboard cameras were rolling when desperation met asphalt on Missouri Route 150. What started as a routine traffic violation turned into something far more sinister. An SUV, a single officer, and a decision that would change everything. The driver had two choices: stop or run. They chose chaos. The engine roared. The accelerator slammed to the floor. Metal screamed as the vehicle rocketed past safe limits, tearing down East Outer Road like a machine possessed. This wasn't just evasion anymore. This was survival mode. It ended as fast as it began. Near the I-49 junction, physics took over. The SUV's tires lost their grip. The world tilted. Metal shrieked against pavement as the vehicle launched into a violent barrel roll, one rotation, two, before slamming down inverted. The crunch of collapsing steel echoed across the highway. The dash cam trembles. The siren dies. Silence. The officer throws his door open and sprints toward the wreckage, adrenaline drowning out everything else. He reaches the SUV, peers inside. Nothing, no body, no driver. Just shattered glass and the metallic smell of destruction. His eyes scan frantically. Then he sees it, a crumpled figure in the ditch, 20 feet from impact, ejected on contact, motionless. No time to think. The officer drops to his knees and starts compressions. Pushing, counting, breath, repeat. February 11th, 2025, Portland, Oregon. 6 days earlier, Raul Sterling was shot and killed in Gresham. Execution style. No witnesses stepped forward, no arrests made. But there was one lead. A gold Cadillac DeVille. Police had been hunting it ever since. Every officer in the area had the description burned into memory. Gold paint. Washington plates. Last seen fleeing the scene. Sergeant Jason Lyle was northbound on I-205, merging off I-84, when he saw it. Gold body, Washington tags. Perfect match. His heart rate spiked. He flipped the lights. The Cadillac didn't slow. It accelerated. The Cadillac didn't even hesitate. The engine screamed. 110 miles per hour northbound on I-205, tearing across the Oregon-Washington state line like borders didn't exist. Behind them, a convoy. Patrol units from 2 states locked in formation, lights flashing in synchronized pursuit. The Cadillac weaved between lanes, no signals, no brake lights, just raw velocity and mounting desperation. Inside that car, 3 people. 3 fugitives. And none of them knew how close the end really was. Exit 32. Cowlitz County. Washington State Patrol had been waiting. 1 cruiser closed the gap. Tactical. Calculated. Contact. The pit maneuver was surgical, a controlled collision that sent the Cadillac spinning off axis. Tires shrieked. The vehicle careened off the highway and lurched to a stop in the dirt. Within seconds, patrol cars surrounded it. Engines idling. Rifles drawn. Commands barked through megaphones. Felony stop protocol. The doors opened slowly. Hands emerged first, palms up, empty, surrendering. One by one, all 3 suspects stepped out and dropped to their knees. No shots, no struggle, no injuries. Just 3 people in handcuffs and a list of charges that told the whole story. Aggravated murder, felony fleeing, accessory to homicide. They thought they could outrun the consequences, thought they could disappear across state lines in a gold Cadillac doing 110 on an interstate highway. But you can't hide when you're running that loud. By the time they reached exit 32, there was only one destination left. A cell. Christmas Eve, 2024. Most people were home wrapping presents or sitting down to dinner. But on Interstate 40, just past the 66-mile marker in Arkansas, someone had other plans. 8:30 p.m. A state trooper clocks a 2006 Honda Pilot tearing westbound at 98 miles per hour, nearly 30 over the limit. The lights go on. The pilot slows and pulls over. The driver steps out. A 3-year-old man from Hampton, Virginia. He hands over a name. A birth date. Calm. Cooperative. All of it lies. The trooper runs the information. Seconds pass. Then the system lights up red. The real identity surfaces. And with it, a trail. Wanted out of Virginia. Fleeing from law enforcement. False identification. Possession of a controlled substance. The trooper takes 1 step toward the vehicle. And that's when the engine roars back to life. The Honda Pilot launches back onto the interstate, headlights cutting through the winter darkness. 70, 80, 90. The speedometer climbs as the vehicle slices between cars like they're standing still. The trooper's cruiser surges forward, lights strobing red and blue across the asphalt. Mile markers blur past. Exit ramps come and go. The siren wails into the cold December air, but the driver doesn't flinch. Inside the patrol car, the radio crackles to life. Dispatch confirms the warrants. Real name, real charges, real consequences. But out here, none of that matters. The pilot keeps running. Faster, reckless, desperate. Every second that ticks by, the danger multiplies. This isn't just a chase anymore. It's a countdown. Mile marker 61. The trooper made his move. A tactical vehicle intervention, precision force applied at speed. The Honda's tires lost contact. The vehicle lurched violently to the right, skidding off the interstate and plunging into the tree line. Wood, metal, glass, impact. The pilot tore through the forest like a wrecking ball, colliding with trunk after trunk until physics finally won. The vehicle crumpled. Steam hissed from the shattered radiator. Silence settled over the wreckage. The trooper approached on foot, flashlight cutting through the smoke. The driver was halfway through the passenger window, suspended, lifeless, severe head trauma. The seatbelt still locked across his chest. Airbags deflated and stained. The steering wheel twisted like paper. Around the wreckage, a debris field. The battery torn free. Engine components scattered across 20 yards of dirt and broken branches. And then, the inventory. 5 cell phones. A Cobra walkie-talkie. 1 phone still glowing GPS locked on Oklahoma City. A revolver. 1 round fired. 4.9 ounces of cocaine packaged and ready. A black stun gun. A digital scale. Dollar bills coated in residue. This wasn't just a man running from warrants. This was a mobile operation. Multi-state, armed, connected. What started as speeding on Christmas Eve unraveled into something federal. The case was handed over to investigators. The questions remain. Who was he running to? Who was waiting in Oklahoma City? And what else was he moving across state lines? July 7th, 2025. Interstate 40 East, Arkansas. A Be on the Lookout alert went live across every patrol frequency. Red 2023. Toyota Tacoma. Driver, James Baker. Armed, suicidal. Baker had vanished days earlier, AWOL from a Navy base in South Carolina. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. The National Crime Information Center had been tracking his phone, watching the digital breadcrumbs as he drove west. And then, the intelligence reports came in. Threats. Specific threats. Suicide by cop. He wasn't running from the law. He was running toward it. With a plan to die.
Slowing down just past the 135.
Be advised, he is armed and had made comments to suicide by cop. So everybody keep cover.
60, give us a minute. Looks like we're going to be stopping on the shoulder.
The red Tacoma rolled steadily eastbound, closing in on mile marker 135. Officers had been shadowing it for miles, waiting, coordinating. Every unit knew the situation. Every trooper understood what was at stake. This wasn't about an arrest. This was about keeping a man alive. Once all units were in position, the lead trooper gave the signal. Lights activated. The traffic stop was initiated. The Tacoma drifted right toward the shoulder, slowed. Brake lights glowed. And then it merged back into traffic. No stop, no surrender, just movement slow, deliberate, like a man buying time to make a final decision. The officers didn't rush. They held formation, keeping distance, eyes locked on every movement, waiting for the right moment. Mile marker 138.
Follow the rock, just in 37. As soon as we get around this curve, TV off.
That's 37. Hey, 21 Woodrock, I'll be secondary. Eastbound, he's on the number 1 lane. What's the 55? Five further up, just
The lead trooper saw his opening. Tactical vehicle intervention executed with surgical precision. Contact. The Tacoma spun smoothly out of the lane and came to rest on the shoulder. No crash, no violence, just control. Officers surrounded the vehicle, weapons drawn, commands clear and firm. Felony stop protocol. The door opened. James Baker stepped out. hands raised high above his head. He didn't resist, didn't argue, didn't fight. He just complied. Inside the cab, they found what they'd feared. A loaded Glock 19, chambered round, ready. And beside it, a half-empty bottle of liquor. The pieces told the story he couldn't. At the station, Baker finally spoke. "I should have done it. You guys stopped me." He'd bought the gun and ammunition 2 days earlier, not for protection, not for sport. For one purpose. But the officers surrounding him that day on Interstate 40 refused to let that be the ending. They didn't see a threat. They saw someone in crisis. Baker was transported for evaluation. He voluntarily admitted himself for treatment. No charges, no jail cell, no funeral. Just a second chance. Because sometimes, the most important chase isn't about catching someone. It's about reaching them before they're too far gone. June 11th, 2025. Fort Smith, Arkansas, 10:32 p.m. Midland Boulevard was quiet. A few scattered headlights. A handful of late-night drivers heading home. Trooper First Class Tyler Nelson was on patrol when he spotted a black Chevrolet Trax rolling through the intersection. Clean exterior, steady speed, nothing unusual. Except the registration. Suspended. Nelson flipped his lights. Standard traffic stop. Routine as it gets. The Trax slowed, then suddenly veered right onto North 50th Street. And then, darkness. Headlights off. Tail lights off. The vehicle vanished into the night like a ghost, accelerating hard into pitch-black streets. 60, 70, 90, nearly 100 miles per hour. No lights, no visibility, no regard for stop signs, intersections, or anything in the way. This wasn't evasion anymore. This was blind recklessness. And somewhere in that darkness, the driver was betting everything on not being seen. The Trax tore through Fort Smith like a bullet fired in the dark. No headlights, no taillights, just a black shape racing blind through residential streets at speeds that made the asphalt blur. Stop signs ignored. Lane markers meaningless.
Still blacked out. Coming up to Johnson. Clear left to right. He wrecked out Kelly and 50th. You okay? Hands up! Hands up! Get your ass on the ground right now! Get your ass on the ground! Yes, sir. Right now! Yes, sir. Hands behind your back! Yes, sir. Stay right there! Yes, sir. Stay right there, don't you move! Yes.
The suspect crossed into oncoming traffic, forcing cars to swerve and brake hard to avoid head-on collisions. Block after block, the danger multiplied. Every intersection became a potential disaster. Every turn risked innocent lives. Trooper Nelson stayed locked on, adrenaline spiking with every near miss. Then came Kelly Highway and 50th Street. The Trax blew through the intersection at full speed, no brake lights, no hesitation, and slammed directly into two vehicles waiting at the cross. Metal crushed, glass exploded. The Trax spun out and crumpled to a stop, steam hissing from the hood. The chase was over. Trooper Nelson was out of his cruiser in seconds, weapon drawn, closing the distance fast. "Get out of the vehicle! Hands up, now!" The door opened. Hands appeared. The driver, Austin Osman, stepped out slowly and dropped to the pavement. No resistance, no fight left. But the search told a different story. A loaded .380 Taurus handgun, 2 fentanyl pills, $243 in cash, stacked and folded. A second loaded 9mm Taurus hidden beneath the driver's seat. Suspected marijuana, a THC vape pen. And then the final detail. A minor had been in the car the entire time. The charges stacked like wreckage. Felony fleeing, simultaneous possession of drugs and firearms, endangering the welfare of a minor, reckless driving, running stop signs, wrong-way driving, the list went on. Austin Osman gambled with his life, the minor's life, and the lives of everyone on those dark streets. He lost. Thanks to Trooper Nelson's relentless pursuit and quick action, no bystanders were killed, no innocent blood spilled. But it was close. Terrifyingly close. And now Osman sits behind bars, facing a future measured in felonies. June 25, 2025, Street, Francis County, Arkansas. A brown Chevy sedan was already running when Arkansas State Police got the call. County deputies had tried to stop it. The driver refused. Now the sedan was rocketing westbound on Interstate 40, engine pushed past red line, speedometer climbing into triple digits. 100. 110. 115. Lights and sirens meant nothing. The driver wasn't slowing, wasn't stopping, wasn't thinking. Mile marker 256. A state trooper merged onto the interstate, accelerated hard, and slipped into formation. Within seconds, he was the lead vehicle. The chase had a new hunter. And the clock was ticking.
TBI, he went into the...
The brown Chevy tore down Interstate 40 like a drunk driver playing Russian roulette with physics. The trooper stayed locked in position, matching every erratic move. The sedan drifted left, then overcorrected right, tires kissing the shoulder before jerking back into traffic. It was spiraling, barely holding the road. Cars scattered. Brake lights flared red across 3 lanes as motorists fought to get out of the way. The chase wasn't slowing down, it was falling apart. And then the trooper made his move. Tactical vehicle intervention. Calculated contact. The cruiser's front quarter panel connected with the Chevy's rear precise surgical force at 80 miles per hour. The Chevy spun. Once. Twice. It careened sideways across the asphalt and slammed into the cable barrier with a metallic scream. The engine died. Smoke rose from the hood. Over. Jimmy Lee Manasco was pulled from the wreckage and cuffed on the spot. No fight, no words, just the hollow stare of someone who'd been running on fumes, literally and figuratively. At the detention center, the picture became clearer. Bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, unstable on his feet. Field sobriety test? Refused. Chemical sample? Refused. He didn't need to say yes. His body had already confessed. The charges: felony fleeing, DWI second offense, reckless driving, a catalog of traffic violations that read like a checklist of bad decisions. What started as a county deputy's traffic stop spiraled into a multi-mile chase down one of Arkansas's busiest interstates. But thanks to Arkansas State Police and one perfectly executed intervention, it ended without bloodshed. Just twisted metal, a man in handcuffs, and a reminder. You can't outrun consequences when you can barely stay in your lane. June 15, 2025, North Little Rock, Arkansas, 11:19 a.m. A Jacksonville Police Department pursuit was already in motion, racing southbound on Interstate 57. Arkansas State Police got the call. Troopers mobilized. Intercept protocol. The suspect vehicle merged onto I-40 westbound. Within seconds, an ASP trooper slipped into formation and assumed primary position. Lead acquired.
TBI? Yep. Alright. It's attempting on TBI. There you go. No break. TVR.
Perfect. Box 3. Just get on the backside. You're cutting your first line.
11:27 a.m. Just 1 minute later, the trooper executed the move. Tactical vehicle intervention. Clean contact. The suspect vehicle spun out and came to rest on the shoulder. Engine off. Pursuit terminated. The driver, Liliana Zuniga Rawacha, was extracted and cuffed. No injuries. No resistance. No damage to state units. From intercept to custody. 8 minutes. In a profession where seconds matter and mistakes cost lives, this was textbook. A smooth handoff, a precise intervention, a safe resolution. Fast, controlled, professional, and over before most people finished their morning coffee. You just witnessed chaos at 100 miles per hour. High-speed pursuits, split-second decisions, lives on the line. This is Justice Moments, and we're not done yet. If you're craving more real stories, raw footage, and the kind of intensity that makes your heart race, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, because the next chase is already rolling. And trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming.